Good afternoon. I want to welcome these leaders for coming in to have this very important discussion about some of the most pressing issues of our time. I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit. And
All right. Hello, and welcome to another episode of A Couple of Hoosiers podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Kurtz. My pronouns are whatchamacallit and what is that? The color of my shirt is gray. How's everybody doing? We are going live right now. Been testing this out. Probably going to start doing this, but yeah, it's just going to be me tonight. But hey, it'll be great. We're going to have some fun talking about some stuff. It's going to be awesome. Let me get a round of applause. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that intro is really weird. I saw that video. I don't have the rest of it, but apparently like everybody else around the table decided to go ahead and go through and just say all that stuff. This whole, I gotta tell people what I'm wearing, what my gender is. It was one thing when like the people on the college campuses were doing it. Like we kind of expected those weirdos to be doing all that stuff. But you know, when our government starts doing it, it really makes you question like what's going on in the world. But other than that, yeah, A Couple of Hoosiers podcast. We're going to get into this. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Yeah, like I said, it's just going to be me, so might be a little weird. I'm used to having somebody to talk to, but I'm just going to be telling you guys everything. It's going to be fun. Let me go ahead and throw up this ad real quick so you guys know where to find us. I also got another ad in there that you guys can check out. Let's go ahead and throw it up. Yeah, A Couple of Hoosiers. Go to the website, coupleofhoosiers.com. You can find the audio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, CastBox, pretty much everywhere that you listen to your podcast. Our videos are up on YouTube and Rumble, so be sure to check it out. But yeah, go to the website. It's got everything on there that you guys can see. And then also, I'd like to throw an ad out there for me and my wife's woodworking business, R&M Kurtz Woodworks. You can find us on Facebook. These are some of the products that we have that we do. Get in touch with us, and we can work something out. But yeah, let's get back into it. So we're going to be talking about a few little things today. Joe Biden came out and said that he has cancer, but he doesn't really have cancer. Who knows? Also, I have a video that I want to play of some January 6th nonsense that is pretty eye-opening. And then, but the crucial thing that I want to talk about is the government coming out with this whole gender affirming stuff for your kids. It just, we're going to a sick, dark place that I don't like. And yeah, we're just going to talk about it. But like I said, yeah, it's all me. So if the video kind of drags a little bit, yeah, it might, because I'm not used to this whole process of just speaking into a mic and speaking into a camera and not having somebody there to talk to. So it's kind of weird. But hey, go ahead and feel free to write a little comment in the comments section. I'll be able to see everything that you guys are commenting, and I can say hi to you guys. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this first video that I have of Joe Biden saying that he has cancer. Let's throw this up.
And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You'd had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer. And why can't, for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the White House was quick to come out and say, no, he doesn't have cancer right now. Don't worry. He had cancer before he came into office, but now he doesn't. I don't know. I don't know. It's all crazy. That's all you got to say about it. But yeah, and then he also had COVID, tested negative for it, but now he has COVID again. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but a lot of my feelings towards the situation is that the whole plan was to kind of like bring him in to kick him out and put somebody else in place. I don't know if it's supposed to be Kamala, and that's why they had her be the VP. I don't know. Go ahead and tell me your guys' thoughts on it. I had some yummy tea. But yeah, he's definitely not all there. You know what? Now that I think about it, I should have put up another video that I saw where him and his wife were up at a podium talking, and then all of a sudden, I'm pretty sure there was the sound of an ice cream truck going by, and he just turns around and just starts walking away. It's hilarious. But yeah, I don't know. The whole, it's weird. It's really weird. I don't know what their plan is, but I don't think it's any good. It's definitely not good for us. But let's go ahead and throw up this other video real quick before we get into the main topic that I want to talk about. Everybody's been hearing about the January 6th committee and that whole sham of a trial. I can't believe it's gone on as long as it has. I mean, everything that they're trying to throw out. I mean, you go back and you look at like the Trump presidency, the first thing they came out with was the Russian collusion. They were saying all that, and then that came out to be false. I don't know. But they're trying to get this off. But I saw this video that was pretty interesting that I wanted to share with everybody. So let's go ahead and watch this. So yeah, you got these guys on the inside going up to the door, trying to open it, but it's locked. Can't get it open. Then he's looking up, probably has some camera pointing at the door. This guy comes up. He looks in the same direction. Yeah, he's saying a bunch of stuff. Oh, hey, and look at that, the door's open. figure out how the magnetic doors opened up. But yeah, I mean, the whole I haven't been following the January 6th committee trial or whatever you want to call it. I think the whole thing is a complete sham. I mean, especially when you look like who they have on there. I mean, there's no like even the Republicans that they have on the committee are their self-proclaimed never Trumpers. I mean, you got Liz Cheney, rhino, just a rhino. Ugh. But yeah, the whole. Now I'll admit that like the people that were like rioting, there's plenty of video that shows that there were people that were rioting. I mean, they can definitely be charged with something, but I mean, most of these people, they just walked in. They had doors open for them. They had police waving them in. You have the one video of the guy saying, I don't agree with you guys, but I support your guys' right to protest and do this. Oh. It's just crazy when you think about it. I mean, like, and most of the people that they've arrested for that, they've been in prison. I believe like over a year now. Like, there's still some people that are still in prison. I believe. I don't know. The whole thing is just a mess, especially when you like actually get in and look at it like like just the whole thought of like political prisoners. I mean, that's the only way that they can look at this. Another video that I should have grabbed for this was I can't remember how old she was, but there was this elderly lady that was there at the Capitol that day on January 6th, and she just got sentenced to, I believe, what was it, 5 months? I believe she was she has to go to prison for 5 months, and she has cancer. Like, really, guys? Really? That's who we're going to put away? Those are the dangerous insurrectionists? I think the biggest thing that, like, irritates me about the whole January 6th thing is, like, you had people on the left coming out saying that it was just as bad as 9/11 and Pearl Harbor. But let's get into the real meat of this episode that I want to talk about. The government coming out and saying that you need to start putting your kids on puberty blockers if they're saying that they're trans. Let's go ahead and watch this.
So we really want to base our treatment and to affirm and to support and empower these youth, not to limit their participation in activities and sports, and even limit their ability to get gender affirmation treatment in their state.
That's a man. Yeah, they. What's happening, people? I mean, what is this world coming to where, like, our government is literally sitting here telling us, hey, you need to put your kids on this medication that's going to stop them from going through puberty and become the gender that they feel that they are? There was an episode that we did a few episodes back called "Hey, Leave Those Kids Alone," and if you go and watch it, like, definitely go and watch it. It was a good episode. We had a good conversation on there. The topic was something that I really want to talk about. It had to deal with child drag shows and all of that, and I think the whole thing is just disgusting. But the first video that I played on there was this mother and her young boy were in this dressing room at a store, and like she was talking about how she wanted to buy him a dress because he likes wearing dresses. Okay. The troubling part of that video was, like, if you listen to what she's saying and how she's talking to him and, like, the way that he's replying to her, it definitely feels like she's been, like, indoctrinating him and, like, programming him and, like, just constantly, like, do you like wearing dresses? Or do you feel like a girl? Do you feel like a boy? Like, all this stuff. Like, this is a lot of stuff that is coming out that we're seeing these days, and It really troubles me to think of this. Like, I mean, especially when you see the stuff coming through, like the school system and all that stuff. You got several videos of teachers saying that they're doing this gender ideology stuff with their students, like young kids. Because I mean, really, if you really want to push something on people, the best place to start is when they're young and they're impressionable like that. And that's what a lot of these parents are doing. But let's go ahead and we will take a look at this first article that I have. This is from Vice. Hold up real quick. 1 second. Okay. So from Vice News, doctors who care for trans kids are being targeted, protested, and harassed. Never did I think as a pediatrician that I was going to be doing work that was controversial to this degree, to the degree that would garner personal threats. Okay, so they start off saying protests are pretty common at the Little Rock, Arkansas clinic where Dr. Janet Cathy works. After all, she works for Planned Parenthood. Controversy is particularly, practically part of the job description. But at one recent protest, Cathy noticed an unusual sign. It was homemade, and it wasn't condemning abortion. Instead, its message was, boys are born boys, girls are born girls. Oh, so they're picking on us for the transgender care, too. Cathy, director of gender education for Planned Parenthood of Great Plains, recalled thinking. Okay, so people are not picking on you for the stuff that you are doing. It is not picking on you. I really couldn't believe that that's the way that they were trying to frame it. Like people are picking on you. No, we're simply telling you that we don't agree with the stuff that you are doing. I mean, honestly, I didn't know Planned Parenthood dealt with the transgender care stuff as well as the abortions that they do. So that was really weird to find that out, but just makes me love that company so much less. I guess let's go ahead and get back into the article. Okay, so Arkansas is the only state whose governor has signed into a law to restrict health care for trans kids. And although that law has been halted by a court challenge, it hasn't dissuaded. Yeah, I think that's dissuaded. I don't know. I'm a dumbass. Go ahead and say it. A flurry of other states from trying to enact similar laws this year. Texas Governor Greg Abbott recently went even further. After Texas repeatedly failed to pass legislation that would restrict gender-affirming care, he ordered his state's Child Protection Agency to investigate the families of trans kids for child abuse. A lawsuit also stopped that order. But the damage lingers for trans kids, their families, and their doctors, even beyond the borders of Texas. People who offer gender-affirming care for trans youth and adults say they fear increasing harassment and protests as their work grows ever more politicized. Doctors who offer gender-affirming care worry that they'll become like abortion providers who have spent decades battling legislative attacks and physical violence. So, you know, I always want to say that I don't, I really don't advocate for like anything like, any physical violence, like they're like, but it gets to the point. I mean, it's like, what are we going to allow in our society? I mean, you got states like Colorado, New York, Los Angeles, or California, my bad. But they're allowing abortions all the way up to 9 months, and now they're bringing on this whole trans affirming care, whatever you want to call it. And honestly, most of the stuff that I've seen, like like for kids mainly is just they want to get them on like the puberty blockers, like hormone blockers and stuff like that, which has its own list of problems. I haven't seen anything about like anybody actually like getting the surgeries under 18, I believe. Yeah, 18. I don't know if you guys know of any, go ahead and put it down in that comment section and let me know, because I would definitely be interested to know if that is happening. I really hope it's not happening. I don't. I mean, like the pills that they're trying to get these kids on is like really bad. They're trying to say, it's reversible, and like if they change their mind down the road, if they're not actually transgendered, like they'll be able to like go back and just stop taking the medicine and start. This topic is frustrating. I don't like it, but I mean, I feel like I gotta say something about it. Let me raise this mic up a little bit. I feel like I'm kind of like bent over trying to speak into this. But yeah, to take a break from that real quick, I want everybody to comment real quick what you guys think of like the whole border thing that I got going. I worked on that, trying to get something a little more visual appealing, however you want to say it. Just giving you guys something to stare at besides my beautiful face. I know I look pretty good, but wanted to throw some other stuff up there and put this little thing down at the bottom. That way you guys can see some words. I'll probably start typing some stuff in there. I don't know. I'm figuring this stuff out as I go. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a journey. I'll keep on working at it, though. I'll make this podcast something that's... I want to bring information and entertainment. I don't want to say, like, entertainment, like... I want to, like, fluff the news or whatever, but I want to make it something worthwhile for you guys to watch, so... Yeah. And like I said, this is really weird for me, just sitting here talking into this mic. I feel weird. It's out of my comfort zone doing this. But let's go ahead and I got another article that I want to talk about real quick. Let's go ahead and check this out real quick. This is transcare.ucsf.edu. Overview of gender-affirming treatments and procedures. This was published back in 2016. Okay, supporting evidence for providing gender-affirming treatments and procedures. Transgender people may seek any one of the number of gender-affirming interventions, including hormone therapy, which is pretty much what I was just talking about with, the pills and all that stuff. Okay, so hormone therapy, surgery, facial hair removal, interventions for the modification of speech and communication, and behavioral adaptations such as genital tucking or packing, or chest binding. All of these procedures have been defined as medically necessary by the World Professional Association for Transgender Health. Lower quality research has found improvements in a range of psychosocial measures after gender-affirming treatments such as hormones or surgery. 2 through 5. That is Sibelius model of gender affirmation describes the ways in which denial of access to gender affirmation is associated with high-risk behaviors and increased rates of HIV infection. Conversely, not all transgender people seek all interventions, and some may seek none. In contrast to past practices, in which a set pathway involved a requirement of psychological assessments, hormones, genital surgery. The current standard of care is to allow each transgender person to seek only those interventions which they desire to affirm their own gender identity. Boy. Okay, so let's take a look down here. So this is all the surgical interventions. You got feminizing, vaginoplasty, masculinizing, yeah, all these medical words that a retard like me won't be able to say. But yeah, so you can take a look at that. Surgery is not specific to transgender populations. Mammoplasty, hysterectomy, all this stuff. Yeah, so this is pretty much I just wanted to put this stuff out there. This is what they mean when they say gender affirming treatments and procedures. But yeah. Yeah. All that fun stuff. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Now, the whole transgender issue, like my main problem with it is, how do I want to put this? The whole problem with it is that it's completely all having to do with the brain. Like, I mean, any man that looks down at his junk and says, you know what, I don't feel comfortable having this penis here and I need to go get it removed. I mean, they definitely have psychological issues. I mean, these people, they don't need these surgeries. They don't need these doctors butchering them, especially if they're going to try to push this towards children, which I know eventually it's not just going to be the hormone therapy. It's not just going to be the puberty blockers. Eventually they're going to want to start to do this stuff. They're going to start pushing the surgeries on these children. People have been talking about slippery slopes with this whole thing, and I mean, today in today's society, we can definitely see like there was a lot of truth to that. I mean, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and now like the only path for them to go is to push it towards children. And I mean, really, when you think about it, I mean, if we're gonna label something as a culture norm, like it's normal to have it in our culture, eventually that's going to be taught to children. Like anything that we say, oh, well, that's normal. That's, people do this stuff. Eventually it's going to be taught towards children because that's what we do with children. We tell them like the culture norms. And let's go ahead and let's talk about this next article that I have that really scares me about this, especially with the government getting involved and saying like parents need to start doing this. And yeah, it's not that bad in America. It's not that bad. Let's go ahead and look at what's happening up in Canada. Okay, from Christian Headlines. Father jailed after calling transgender child his daughter and using wrong pronouns. Yeah. This father actually lost his rights to his daughter because his daughter said that she was a boy. He didn't agree with it. That's his little girl. I think me and Charlie talked about this before, and I didn't have the article, but to think that the government can come in and like take away your rights to be with your children because you don't agree with this whole gender ideology thing, and you don't want to say, oh, my daughter's a boy, or my boy is my daughter, or... It's not good. But let's go ahead and take a look at this article. So, a Canadian father was jailed this month after he disobeyed a court order and refused to call his 14-year-old biological daughter, who identifies as male, his son. The controversial case has drawn worldwide attention, mostly because it includes a father and a mother who disagree over the child's best interest. The couple is separated. The father, Robert Hoogland, that's a name, is under a court order not to discuss the case in public. The court has also ordered him to call his child his son and to use only the child's preferred pronouns, he and him. Hoogland, though, has refused to obey the court. Yeah. He even set up a fundraising website detailing information about the case in defiance of the court order. Let's keep on reading. Hoogland opposes giving the child puberty blockers, believing the child might grow up to regret the decision, which, yes, that does happen. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of people come back later saying that, like, they wish somebody would have, like, stepped in, you know, and, like, said, hey, slow down. Why don't you wait a while? Like, this is the dangerous part where it comes with these kids who are like I said before, they're impressionable. I mean, a lot of them are, like, constantly online. Like, that's why I think it's completely ridiculous to give your kids any phones, cell phones, laptops, anything that can get to the internet, because the internet is, while it has like a lot of good stuff towards it, like you can, like, find out a lot of information, there's a lot of parts of the internet that are just not good for kids. And yeah, don't give your kids access to the internet. It's really not a good idea. But let's go ahead and get back into this article. Okay, so he opposed giving the child puberty blockers, believing the child might grow up to regret the decision. The mother, the medical system, and the courts have endorsed puberty blockers for the child. The Post-Millennial, a Canadian website, reported that Hoogland was arrested Tuesday. A judge had issued the warrant and said Hoogland was in contempt of court after talking about the case in public and calling the child his daughter and using the pronouns she and her. See, this is where you get into, like, all these, like, hate speech laws that the government's put in place, like, over in, like, the UK and up in Canada. Like, when you can start going to jail for words that you say, like, I mean, and, like, I'm not talking about, like, threats of violence towards people, which is already illegal, but, like, this type of stuff where you're using the person's wrong pronouns. And if you guys have been paying attention to, like, a lot of this stuff, like, there's so many different, like, pronouns and genders and non-binary, it just gets ridiculous. But yeah, I'll So, okay, what was this? Okay, so this was last year in March. Up here, March 18th, 2021, when this was published. So this was something that was going on last year. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue reading. Here I am sitting there as a parent watching a perfectly healthy child be destroyed, and there's nothing I can do but sit on the sideline, according to the court. Hoogland previously said, I can only affirm or get thrown in jail. Do not comply. Yeah, that whole situation just that really irritated me when I first read about that Like I've seen a lot of stuff before, like over like in the UK and all that stuff, like with these hate speech laws that they had, where like there's this one guy, what is his name? He goes by like Count Dankula. He had his dog do the Nazi salute, and he got thrown in jail for that. Like this whole quest for like people wanting to feel safe and not have their feelings hurt is where we get into like stuff like this, where these ideologies get pushed on us by the government, because how the government works is you vote in representatives that are going to represent your values, and if your values are, hey, I don't want people saying mean words to me, well, you're going to get some state enforcement on your butt if you start saying some mean words. Oh. It's just... Oh, how long have we been going for? 47 minutes. See, I'm trying to make this go. I'm trying to make this last, you know. I want my episodes to be around an hour, and I think I'm doing pretty good just sitting here talking by myself. It also makes it a little better when you don't have my liberal buddy spouting his nonsense, talking about, yeah, it's okay, Charlie. I love you. I just like to make fun of you. See? If I was in the UK or Canada, he could like call the police and say, "Hey, he was being mean to me. Go arrest him." Not here, not in the great US of A for now. Okay, so let's take a look at this article. Okay, so the Williams Institute.law.ucla.edu. All that stuff. Suicide thoughts and attempts among transgender adults. Findings from the 2015 U.S. Transgender Survey, September 2019. Studies show that the prevalence of suicide thoughts and attempts among transgender adults is significantly higher than that of the U.S. general population. Using data from the 2015 U.S. Transgender Survey, this report examines key risk factors associated with suicidality? Yeah, that's what I think that says. Among a sample of transgender people. Yeah, like that's a big thing. They have this like high rate of like attempted suicide, and like people are like, oh well, it's just because a lot of people don't accept them for who they are. I think it's a little bit more than that, people. So yeah, let's look at this. Data points. 98% of respondents who had experienced 4 instances of discrimination and violence in the past year thought about suicide that year. 51% of them attempted suicide that year. 13% of the respondents who had... stuff's popping up on my screen. Get out of here. 13% of respondents who had been denied equal treatment because they are transgender reported suicide attempts in the past year. 6% of those who had not experienced such treatment reported past year attempts. 11% of respondents who had been rejected from their families reported past year suicide attempts. 5% of those who had not experienced such rejection reported attempts in the past year. 30% of respondents who were physically attacked in a public place reported attempting suicide in the past year. 7% of those who were not similarly attacked reported past year attempts. 9% of respondents who wanted but did not receive gender-affirming care reported past year suicide attempts. 5% of those who wanted and received gender-affirming care reported attempts in the past year. Yummy. So, I mean... when you really like look at it, like the rates that they have with within the trans community, their suicide rates, I mean, it's really high, like almost like I think, what was it? Let me get back to it. I read so many numbers I forgot. So yeah, 98% of the respondents who faced discrimination thought about. So almost everybody in that poll who faced instances of discrimination and violence thought about suicide. I mean, do you get what I'm saying there? I mean, people, almost all of the people, almost all of the transgender people that they talk to, like, and like, this is what I'm getting at. I mean, they think about that. Almost all of them. I mean, have you ever been called names? Have you ever been hated on for some particular reason? I mean, yeah, that's crazy. And then 51% of them attempted suicide. Like, you don't find those statistics anywhere throughout any demographic of people. I mean, you look back in the times of slavery. I mean, I doubt that they were sitting there asking their slaves, "Hey, do you ever think about suicide? What are your thoughts on it?" But I mean, like when you look at it, like the attempted suicide rates, like 51% of the people that they ask. Are people really going to say that transgender people are treated worse than slaves back in like pre-Civil War times? Like, even when you look at when you go back and look at Jews in the Holocaust, I mean, they didn't have those type of suicide rates. So I mean, really, like what people need to understand with this is it has nothing to do with like the fact that people are not accepting them for who they believe that they are. I mean, it is definitely a mental illness. I mean, they need psychiatric help. They don't need somebody chopping off healthy organs that they have. I mean, I know even I've seen before, like, even if you like look into the statistics of after they receive their gender affirming care, like they still have a similar rate of thoughts of suicide. They still have the same rates of attempted suicide. I mean, that really, that's why I don't get when you have that type of research there. Like, I don't view myself as an intelligent person. I mean, but I mean, I can see by that, I mean, we got to take a deeper look into this, and especially if they're going to start pushing this stuff towards children, if they're going to start pushing it towards children and saying that, like, parents need to do this, or you can get your children taken away from you by Child Protective Services because you're being a bigot towards your children. That's not right. It's not right. Let's go look in this and see if there's anything else that I want to talk about. Here, while I'm looking at this, let me go ahead and throw this ad back up. I mean, you guys can take a look at that instead of looking at me reading. Show you where you can find the podcast. Go to the website, subscribe with your email. Then you can get all my posts that I put on the website sent straight to your email. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for today's episode. Yeah. It's been a little uncomfortable talking about this stuff. I don't like, yeah, anything involving kids. I mean, when they're trying to push this stuff, here, I want to look up, a book that I just read. Give me 1 second. Bear with me. Bear with me. No. Spelled that wrong. Right here. Dark Agenda, The War to Destroy Christian America by David Horowitz. It's a real good book explaining like in detail what's all happened throughout our history to make us see where we're at. Yeah. It was a really good book. I mean, you can go through the book while you're reading it and like look up the stuff that he's listing in here. I mean, the reason why we're where we're at today in society is because we have become a godless, degenerate society that views man as its own god. Like, yeah, they've been pushing this since like the 60s, like all this anti-God movement. Yeah. Like I said, yeah, this is really weird for me just sitting here talking on the mic to nobody. Just having my voice go out onto the internet. Hi, internet. Hi, NSA. I know you're listening. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Watching me struggle to get through this episode. Yeah. I already put up that ad, but yeah, go to the website. I write a blog for every episode listing like the articles, so you can go ahead and you can go read what I was seeing. I put the videos in there, that way you can get a better look at them. But I mean, if you go to the website coupleofhoosiers.com and you put your email address in there and hit subscribe, everything that I post onto the website will get sent straight to your email. Yeah. And you can pretty much view everything from the website. You can get the audio on the website. You can get the videos on the website. You can get the blogs on the website. You can contact us through the website. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Yeah, be sure to comment on these videos. The way that the YouTube algorithm works or whatever, it's big on like the whole like, comment, that whole aspect. Like the more like the videos get liked, the more that people comment in them, the more that they'll get passed around. So hey, word of mouth, share the podcast with people, tell people about us. Couple of Hoosiers podcast. It's gonna be a big deal. But yeah, we're doing these live streams now, which really streamlines the whole process for me. I don't have to sit there and do hours of editing to make the audio sound right. I got a mixer now, so I can control that. So when you guys start watching, you guys can tell me how I sound, how everything sounds, and how everything looks, and I can adjust stuff, and I can even throw this stuff up there now where you guys can... Oh, wrong side. Check out my social media. You can find me at r_wing Hoosier pretty much on all the social media sites except for Gab. It's Strange Days with a 3 instead of an E. I was thinking about going back and changing that on Gab, but I don't really care about that website. I don't really care about like any of the social media websites, especially like the alternative ones. I feel like a lot of them just attracts like all the people on the right that have been kicked off of like the major platforms, which I haven't. So maybe I'm just not saying the right stuff. Maybe I need to up my game. Maybe I'm lukewarm. I don't know. But tell me what you guys think of the episode. Yeah, and share it. Share the podcast. It's a big way to get people to know about us. Word of mouth does good stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and get off of here and let you guys go on with your day. Thanks for watching. Bye.